How many people will you say you know that really know God, that have discovered God for themselves? Not too many. But they go to church. They all go to church. That is the same problem that God was having with the disciples. Jesus was having with his disciples. So they were going to church, but their going to church was not being converted into personal relationship with God. As your own religiosity, as your own going to church being converted into personal relationship with God. You need to throw that challenge to yourself. You need to ask yourself that question. As your own relationship being converted to a personal relationship with God. So your going to church must be converted into a personal relationship with God. And you must ask yourself, is this church that I'm going to helping me to convert? What has this church going and religiosity, and not religiosity is not just about church going. Religiosity could be your reading of the Bible, or your fasting, or your praying, or your going to church. All those your religious activities, have they been converted into the knowledge of God or not? So if your religious activities are not being converted to the knowledge of God, then you know you are in trouble. So you have to now stop and say, hey, wait a minute. What are the religious activities that I have been engaged in that are not converting my relationship into relationship with God? What are the religious activities that I'm engaged in that have not brought me into discovering God, into knowing who God is? Then you have to do an inventory and stop those religious activities that you are engaged in that are not making you to discover God and to know God for yourself. Those religious activities that you are engaged in that are not making you to know God, to discover God, to be closer to God, to walk personally and in intimacy with God. You have to now say, those religious activities, they are not helping me. They are only birthing religion in my life. They are only birthing religiosity in my psyche. I don't need to engage in them anymore. So, let's say you are someone that likes to go to the mountain and likes to go to some places to pray and to some meetings all the time. You have to judge those meetings by how much personal relationship has that brought into your life with the Lord Jesus. How much intimacy has that brought in your relationship with God? How much knowledge, not head knowledge, but personal, ongoing personal relationship and personal knowledge has that brought to you? As all that particular religious activity brought you to a place whereby you can say, I know God better. I know God better. And I know how to please him. I know him better.